Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Jim Sando, Strategic Results Group, is in the house. Welcome.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Those of you that are watching us on our live Facebook channel, feel free to pop in with any questions or comments you have right there. I do try and moderate that during the broadcast, and we are celebrating today. Now, I might change this one a little bit. National Artichoke Hearts Day. Not a big fan there, but my wife is. And obviously, in order to stay married for 30 years, the other part of today's celebration is what makes that happen. National Everything You Do Is Right Day. Just saying. And just ask her. She'll tell you. I mean, maybe I better not say that. She might actually be listening this morning. Every once in a while she tunes in, but being that she can't talk back on the broadcast, it's hard to go there. Good morning, Kathleen. Good to see you out there this morning. Glad to see you checking in. I like that green hat. I'll have my green hat on tomorrow when we talk about buying a home with a reverse mortgage. That's going to be a little bit of a fun conversation. I've already starting to get some questions coming in for that one. Dow Jones Industrial Average, it was up over 21,000 this morning. It's down 36 points as we speak. Oil down 15 cents a barrel, and the U.S. 10-year Treasury up 2.5 basis points. That would be 0.025 to those that are following it in that manner. 2.521 is the yield right now on the U.S. 10-year Treasury. That does affect interest rates, not directly, but they follow very closely. And Freddie Mac did come out this morning. Their 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate survey, 4.30. Ow! Have to pay a half a point to get that, according to Freddie Mac. 3.73 is where we were 1 year ago, and last week we were at 4.21. The economy doing better, so maybe that's why we're seeing those interest rates going up. Federal Reserve came out yesterday with their commentary saying the economy is doing better. We'll talk about that in just a minute. The federal housing starts up 3% to an annual rate of 1,288,000, above the consensus of 1,265,000. Remember, we need 1.5 million units annually just to replace the depleted units, the obsolete units, and new households. We need 1.5 million. That's according to our friends over at Chapman University. So at 1,288,000, we're getting closer. We're still moving up. Single family starts rose 7% to the highest level since October of 2007. That's a nice number. Weekly jobless claims fell to 241,000, fairly close to the expectations. Manufacturing is a little bit above its consensus. And as I shared with you yesterday, nobody really cares about the Dutch election. It's just something to talk about. Amazing. So here's the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve came out yesterday and increased the Fed funds rate by another 0.25%, said they're still on track to do 3 increases this year. Okay, so most Americans are saying, who cares? What does that mean to you? So here's what that breakdown is. And I will give credit where credit is due. This came from my wife this morning. Interesting is, here's the issue. If you are in if you're looking at a $500,000 loan, the difference between a 4.25% interest rate, and I don't know whether you qualify for that or not, and a 4.50 interest rate. At 4.25, you're going to pay roughly $2,460 a month, $2,460. If you have a 4.5% interest rate, you're going to pay $2,533, $73 difference per month. May not sound like a lot, but think about that in two different ways. $73 a month. Now, I'm going to use the number that a lot of individuals like, because this is what they call shock value in radio. So I'll give you the shock value and then I'll tell you reality. The shock value is that's $26,280 over the supposed life of the loan. And the reason I say the word supposed is because we only keep our loans for about 5.5 years in our country. That's about the average of how long. Now, I know you're going to say, no, I'm going to keep mine for 30 years, Ron. Okay, let's see. How long has it been since you've had it? That's the real question that I would ask. So over that 5 fraction years that we're looking at, the real number comes out to $4,526 is what it's really going to cost you. But more than that, the real important part is your debt to income ratio. That's the important issue. Your purchasing power drops as interest rates increase. So the house that you may have been able to buy, you might have been able to qualify for that $500,000 loan. Well, now maybe you only qualify for a $475,000 loan. That's the numbers that are meaningful to you, that are meaningful to your family. That's what we want to get you in understanding with a federal funds rate. Now, the Fed does not have anything to do with a 30-year fixed rate loan. What they have to, and actually, if you notice, if you follow the markets, I know you don't because nobody does like we have to in the industry. But if you were following the markets, right after the Federal Reserve made their announcement yesterday, the bonds went up, which means the interest rate or yields went down. Why would that happen? Well, it's just the way the markets work. There's been this rumor all along, and this is one of the cliches of Wall Street. The rumor all along was the Fed was going to increase interest rates. So people were selling their bonds, going into more of the equity markets. When they sell the bonds, prices go down, interest rates go up. Well, now that reality has hit, we've got the news, the Fed did what was expected. Well, you sell on that information. So they started selling some stocks. Market went, just a lot of technical stuff. It's called buy the rumor, sell the news. So when the news came out and confirmed, that's kind of what happened in the industry. So that's why we saw that going in that direction yesterday. Just a little bit of crazy industry information for you. That way, when you go to the bar tonight, you say, boy, did you know what the Federal Reserve did yesterday? And you put everybody to sleep. Nobody will care, but you'll have some good trivia information. Just a thought for you right there. We have a little bit of fun connecting the dots here on Ron Siegel Radio. So moving right along, what else is going on in the news? Well, you got to love it. The CFPB back at it again. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I've shared this with you. In my opinion, it is an unconstitutional organization created by those loons on Wall Street. They're in Washington, and they're gone now. Barney Frank and Chris Dodd, they're gone. So the CFPB ordered Nation Star Mortgage to pay $1.75 million. I think it just says $1.75 civil penalty in the report. I don't think it's going to be $1.75. They don't do anything for that. Why do I say that I believe it's unconstitutional? Well, here's the issue. It's the only entity in our government that has no oversight. Congress doesn't oversee the CFPB. We saw from a judge just recently that the president can't fire the head of the CFPB. The rulings, when they go to a court, they say, well, we don't have to listen to you. Ironic enough, the day after a court in Hawaii overrules the president of the United States, but the CFPB, they get to do whatever they want, when they want, where they want. Does that make any sense to anybody? Am I missing something here? Yeah, well, when you're talking about Dodd-Frank and those two goofs, yeah, well, it might make sense to somebody. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we will talk about which homes have appreciated the most. We're talking small business and mid-sized business today. Art, I see your question on here. We're going to throw that at our guest expert in-house this morning as well, so don't go away. 9 tax breaks that can help make homeownership more affordable. All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Robin. It's good to see you back with us this morning in the real-time real estate segment, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find that new home. Find your dream home before somebody else finds it. Hate to have you to be the one that's left out. Which homes have appreciated the most is our subject this morning. Home value has gone up dramatically over the last 12 months. The latest existing home sales report from the National Association of Realtors puts the annual increase in the median existing home price at 7.1%. CoreLogic, in their most recent home price insights report, reveals that national home prices have increased by 6.9% year over year. CoreLogic report broke down appreciation even further into 4 different price categories. Lower priced homes priced at 75% or less of median. Low to middle priced homes priced 75 to 100% of median. Median to moderate priced homes 100 to 125% of median. And the higher priced homes that are greater than 125% of median. So the lower priced homes, the appreciation up 10%. Low to mid up 8.3, middle to moderate 7.3, and higher priced homes up 5.5%. Bottom line, lower priced homes, which are more demand, everyone will tell you that one, appreciated at greater rates than the homes in the upper ends of the spectrum. But if you have $1 million home and it went up 5.5% last year, you are not complaining. Just a thought there for you. That's the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before somebody else does. This morning we got to talk about business. I love talking business. It's one of my passions. When I started it, as I've shared with you, I had my own small businesses, grew them, got to work for Merrill Lynch and talk to other business entrepreneurs. What I do now, I get to talk to small business owners all the time. So I feel very, very blessed because when you get to talk to all these people, actually, when you get to listen to all these people, then you really get the opportunity to learn. And then you get to share that information with others. And we're going to chat this morning. Jim Sando, Strategic Results Group, is with us. What do you think, Jim? You probably get the same thing as far as an ability when you're chatting with folks, you get to learn more and more about other people's businesses.
That's the most fun part of my business, is getting to know different things about different organizations and different industries.
To me, I just love that idea because it just gives us an opportunity to study. When I was in one of the businesses I had, I did some computer consulting. And I had an aunt, may she rest in peace, that said to me, well, what gives you the qualification to do this? And I said at the time, number one, I'm not intimidated by them. Computers were very intimidating, especially to people our age 20 years ago. Not as much today. And from the experience, when you talk to 5 or 10 people or do something with 5 or 10 people, when the 11th comes along, you've got a lot more experience to draw on.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things, and I would just think that's probably when you get into the consulting world, that's the whole idea. It's the economies of scale.
Well, experience counts for everything. In the business world, having experience means everything. It means you've made mistakes and you've learned from your mistakes. There are people out there that call themselves consultants and they've never worked in the business world before. And I'm sitting there going, how in the world can you explain anything to anyone if you haven't made mistakes? So, I take great pride in making 30 years worth of experience of mistakes in the corporate world so that I could share some of the benefits of what I've learned from all those mistakes.
So that's the Michael Jordan rule. Right, he took 30,000 shots and missed 20,000 or whatever the number is.
Sure.
So, but he couldn't have made 10,000 if he hadn't taken 30 and missed.
You don't take the shots, you can't make the hits.
So, I love the idea. One of the things that really intrigued me when we talked about you coming on the broadcast was I listen to the business channels all the time. And one of the channels, they talk about a hospital that's merging and got all these new things. And they talk about the idea that we can't afford this and we're too small for that. And, we've hired BDO and it's some massive corporation that most people can't even afford.
Absolutely, and most of the consulting world focuses on large corporations, so they can ring up big invoices, big expenses.
So nobody
focuses on the small businesses.
Can a small guy, is there a channel for the small guy?
Well, I found very few consultants who will focus on small businesses, but that's exactly what we do. I enrolled in an organization called the Institute for Independent Businesses back about 10 years ago, and there was a whole group of consultants, I'd say about 3,000 of us, that were focused on small business, but it was an international organization. So there are people that do it, but it's harder to find them.
When you're looking at a consultant, do you have to find somebody that focuses on your industry, or are there a lot of things that are generic?
There's an awful lot of things that are generic. And, the truth is most people who run their businesses, they know a lot about their area of expertise. You're in the mortgage world, you know an awful lot about finance. But people, the deeper they go into their own area of expertise, the less they know about other things. So they don't know about HR laws. They don't know about accounts receivable. What's the average days of receivable? What's reasonable benchmarks in the accounting world? They don't know a lot about marketing and sales. They know most of my clients, they're experts at what they do. A medical doctor, my gosh, he spent how many years learning the medical practice? Does he know anything about accounts receivable? Where did they teach him anything about that?
Sure.
So that's what we try and focus on, is the areas that people don't have expertise, so we can round out their practice, so to speak.
So do you help them out in their business, or do you more analyze and then guide them to the experts within their industry?
What we do is, and of course it depends on the specific circumstance, but what we do is help diagnose what's going on, analyze what's going on, help them to run through the options of how they can address whatever issue it is that needs to be addressed, and help them come to the conclusion as to what's the best way, the way that they're most comfortable in addressing that. Because what might work for me isn't going to work for somebody else. And so then in our particular case, we stay alongside the business owner and help them execute a plan, because that's where most things go wrong. Most people know what they need to do, they just don't get around to doing it because they're too darn busy. And if you focus on, okay, what is the plan, what are the steps, how are we going to make sure that we go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 on, that's when they get the benefit of it. So we hang around with our business clients to help them execute and succeed.
So you're actually doing for the business owner what the business owner does with his employees, so to speak, is the business owner needs to hold his team accountable.
Absolutely. Accountability is a big part of what we do, but a lot of it is helping the business owner retrieve the vision that they had when they started. I talk to business owners. The first thing I say is, when you created this business, what was your vision? And I've had 50-year-old men break down in tears because the vision they had 20 years ago is not what they're doing today at all. They've lost it somewhere. They've lost it in the weeds. And you want to say, let's get back to what it is what drew you to this, made you want to do this. What are you passionate about? Can we go and make that happen again?
That's a great concept there, because no matter what business an individual got into, and if you started a plumbing business, you probably didn't start that business to be a HR compliance officer.
That's right.
Right? And you may not even follow up on that because you're learning what the latest and greatest is. You might be trying to find out the latest, and believe me, I used plumbing and I shouldn't have, but it might be that you're trying to figure out the next best wrench to use, while you're leaving yourself open to a lot of liability because you didn't get some other service that you need.
Absolutely. The people who are really passionate about what they do, they really spend a lot of time and energy polishing that and getting to understand better and better how to do it. That means they have less and less time to worry about little silly things like, HR laws or finance issues or what's the latest thing happening in the marketing world and how do you market effectively. And that's where they fall apart.
Great information. Two thoughts come to my mind in our conversation in this segment. There's one of them was I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he at one time was the CEO of Nabisco, right? And Nabisco obviously dealing in a lot of different food products, and they ultimately became a tobacco company, food and tobacco. And the gentleman left as CEO of Nabisco and went to be the CEO of IBM. You couldn't be any more far apart in the world, but as the CEO of either company, he could do either one.
Well, in a large corporation, what you're really doing is finding good people. The phrase in the book, good to great, is get the right people on the bus and get them in the right seat. So in a large corporation, that's what you're doing. In a smaller corporation, you don't have as many people to get on the bus. You don't have as big a bus and you don't have as many seats. So it's a matter of motivating them, trying to understand what it is they can do well, and making sure that they're assigned tasks that they're going to succeed at. So many businesses, they assign people tasks that they're going to fail at. I walk in and I say, why do you have this control person doing marketing? Marketing is an open-ended, open mind, creative process, and you got an accountant doing it, and it's not going to happen.
Right, and that's a big part of a lot of businesses. From what I've seen, is they want to promote people because they think everybody has the same passion as them. Yet everybody has their own passion. I mean, that person that's in accounting may love filling in spreadsheets and that other good stuff, and may not want to handle the wrench. It's just
well, the acronym that I always introduce to my clients is WIFM. What's in it for me?
It's my favorite radio station, WIIFM.
So, most business owners say, this is what makes me excited, so this should make you excited, and it absolutely is a turnoff to the employee. You got to find out what makes them excited and then make sure that they have tasks that help feed that passion, because that's when they're going to be at their best, their peak performance.
Absolutely. We've had Larry Broughton come on, and many times people have we've shared his commentary is hire your weaknesses. We'll talk more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, 9 tax breaks that can help make homeownership more affordable, the state of millennial retirement. That might be fun. And more with Jim Sando, Strategic Results Group. We'll talk more about business and having fun there as well. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel.
Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions. All you need is some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by askaboutreversemortgages.com. Are you 62 years of age or older? Do you have some equity in your property? The reverse mortgage might be the right solution for you. I don't know. I'd never say it's right for everybody. I haven't found too many people it's not right for. There's a great product out there that you just have, and ironically enough, being one of the best products on the market for seniors, it's also one of the most misunderstood products out there on the market. So we're going to actually do a whole radio show tomorrow. Make sure you check in with us. Using a reverse mortgage to buy a house, never have a mortgage payment for the rest of your life if you so choose. But right now we're going to talk about the state of millennial retirement. A lot of millennials aren't thinking about retirement at all. They're thinking that they're infallible. They'll always make more money. There's plenty of time. And they don't realize that nowadays, we've constantly talked about the idea of retiring at 60 or 65. Now we're living till 85 or 90. By the time the millennials get there, who knows how old they'll be living, maybe even longer than that. What will the quality of life be like? We don't know that answer either. What will the cost be for maintaining a semblance of an enjoyable life? The average millennial starts saving 7.5% of their salary at age 27. It's entirely possible for them to retire in their 60s. Now, remember, I talk to you about this all the time. Be careful of the 401k ruse. It's just a program to help the government take more of your money. So the idea there is there are other programs, other products that are better for you than that. All you want to put into the 401k is that which your employer matches. If they don't give you some sort of a match, don't put money in there. I can show you much better places to put your money. There's a big question about Social Security. My opinion is it's going to be here forever. It's very difficult for them to stop any kind of a government handout. Look what's happening after 7 years of the Unaffordable Care Act. Think about that with Social Security that's been around for 50 years. No one wants to talk about the idea that when Social Security was instituted, when you got your Social Security at age 62, you were supposed to die at age 63. No one's talking about pushing grandma off the bus about that, but that's really the way it is. Just remember those things. So you got to make some sort of a plan. Don't wait for the government to help you. Plan on retiring without Social Security benefits. It'll be here, but that can just enhance your life. Talk to our friend Al Manfrey about some of the programs that he has on the insurance products. Safe, secure, guaranteed, and you don't pay taxes on them. Will they change those programs? No, there's too much money behind them. Do you think that they're going to change an insurance company's products and programs and not have a lot of backlash and lose a lot of financial support? Talk about draining the swamp. It ain't going to happen. Just be careful of the different programs. Get in with the right people. That is the Word on Wealth segment. Again, this isn't about just bringing you the hype. Call me. I'll give you the solutions that I believe are best for you. I do not sell them. I will put you in touch with the people that have them. They are the experts. That is the Word on Wealth segment. Again, brought to you by askaboutreversemortgages.com. I'm going to continue our conversation this morning. Jim Sando is in the house. Strategic Results Group. We're talking about small to mid-sized business, getting some professional guidance. We were talking before the break about the concept. Larry Broughton has been on. He's a small business owner, a retired Army Ranger. And one of the comments that he's made many times, and I've kind of adopted it, is hire your weaknesses. If you don't like doing accounting, why would you be the accountant for your small business? That's his comment. I believe it. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely agree. The problem is a lot of people don't know what their weaknesses are. And you really need to understand your personality. And some personalities lend themselves to doing some things well and other things not so well. So if you understand your personality style, I can tell usually within about 5 minutes whether somebody's going to be good on the marketing and sales side or somebody's going to be good on the accounting side and all the way in between. Some people are pretty balanced. But a lot of people don't realize that they even have weaknesses, so they don't know how to hire to their weakness. But surrounding yourself with people who are strong in other areas where you're not strong is the best thing you can do for your business.
One of the things that we use on a regular basis, and it's a Tony Robbins thing off of his website. I don't know if he ever created it. I have no clue. I'm sure will know more about it than I do, Jim. Is when we're looking at hiring people on the lending team, we always want to look at what is their DISC profile.
Absolutely. That's what I use all the time. In fact, I have a tool now that not only does DISC, which stands for dominant, interactive, steady, and careful, but I also use motivational scores. So there's about 9 different categories that motivates people, and I want to know what motivates people, because if in my company I can't give them something that's going to motivate them, they're never going to perform. So I use a combination of DISC and motivational profiles.
And see, those are, and I'm going to just make an assumption here. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, or if you're on Facebook especially, put a comment in the comment section. How many folks are aware of the DISC profile? It's a real simple tool. MBE links, maryboyedwardlinks.com/DISC. DISC. You can go and take that there. It's free. It just takes you right over to the Robbins website. I can't remember the place on his site. So we've just created a short link right there. I know in our instance, when we're looking at people in the back office, we want them to have a high S, high C. Right? We want them to be very...
Absolutely. For back office, that's perfect, but that's a horrible combination for your marketing guy.
Right.
And it's not a good combination for your leadership guy. So you need to have some combinations. You got to have some people who are high Ds, some people who are high S's. And if your organization is heavy in one area, I consulted with one organization, they do systems and analyst type of work. They're all high C's and high S's. There's no D's. Nobody's making decisions because they're all analyzing. You got to have a combination of people. And when you have combinations of people, then they have to get along and work together. That's one of the tricks.
And that's the importance of having somebody that understands these tools. And that's why I think the consulting process makes so much sense.
Well, the problem is so many consultants have just outrageous rates, and small businesses, I can't afford that. We're focused on small business. We know what cash flow is all about. We know that you can't afford a bunch of things, and you got to get a quick return on your investment. Otherwise, you're just spending. So, we focus on a price point that people can afford. If they can afford another part-time employee, they can afford a consultant, and hopefully we can contribute a lot more than some $10 an hour employee.
Well, that's the whole idea. There is again, you throw some good segues there, Jim. The idea there is we talk all the time. Why do I recommend people use a real estate professional instead of selling their house on their own? Professional guidance costs nothing. Why do I recommend that you contact a tax person, professional, an enrolled agent, or an individual that's a professional instead of using the online service? They shouldn't cost you anything. I'm going to suggest here that a consultant should not be an expense of the company. It should be showing some sort of a return on investment.
Our goal is to make sure our clients receive 3 times the return on their investment, and that has to happen in about 90 days. Otherwise, people just can't afford it. Small businesses can't afford it. They've got to get a quick ROI.
And part of that ROI might even be the idea of having some time with your family.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons that we got into this is watching people whose families' lives suffer and then their kids suffer because dad's absent. He may be physically present, but mentally he's at work trying to figure out how he's going to solve tomorrow's problems. I want people to be good dads. I want them to be good husbands, and that means walking away from work and getting a break from it.
And if you're focused again, and I don't know why I've been using a plumber all morning, but we'll just continue there. Right? If you're a plumber and out there scheduling jobs and bidding jobs, and you have to go home at night and start doing billing, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can find somebody a lot less expensive and less valuable than yourself, and might even be better.
I remember when somebody asking me to do something for the company, and I said, I'll be happy to do it, but I'm going to be the most expensive typist you've ever paid for. So do you really want to do that?
Right, there you go. And that makes a lot of sense right there. How often, I had a CPA firm that was very focused on doing similar things to what you're doing. And this was back in the 80s when I had my import-export business. And his comment was that your employees know they've got hidden keys of ways to the company make more money, more profitable. Do you find that as well still today?
Absolutely. In fact, I think any consultant who walks in and says, I'm going to give you the answers, you ought to throw them out on their ear right now, because you know more about your business than any outsider is. The answers lie within your business. The question is extracting those answers, and the employees hold a lot of those answers. I've interviewed employees, and they tell me all sorts of crazy things, and I'm saying, did you ever tell your boss that? No, I don't want to tell him. He doesn't care. So you've got to find a way to motivate people to contribute and feel like they're part of a team instead of it's his business. I'll just do what I'm told to do and let him worry about the rest.
It's amazing, and it's when you have the employees and the employees become a team and they buy in and they see it's their ideas that's being implemented. It's amazing how much, when they own the idea, how much harder they're going to work. We're going to talk more with Jim Sando when we come back about business consulting, business growth. It's about small businesses today, not the big monsters. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we'll also talk about some tax breaks that can help make home ownership more affordable. All that and more. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss our broadcast, we're on iTunes, mbelinks.com, maryboyedwardlinks.com/iTunes. You can find our replays there. There's probably about 500 shows there now. Check us out. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Our house in the middle of a street. Our house.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, maybe you're looking for the FHA loan, the VA loan, jumbo loans. They've got them all. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with the right folks. Maybe you want to get rid of mortgage insurance. A lot of people are thinking about that right now, or getting rid of that home equity line of credit. All of those things are available. 9 tax breaks that can help make home ownership more affordable. Ben Franklin said, nothing is certain except death and taxes. And every year around this time, we're reminded of the unfortunate truth of his words. But maybe we can look at some of the things positively. If taxes are inevitable, so are tax breaks. So right now when we're thinking, and there's a lot of news, I don't know how many people watch as much news as I do. I'm talking a lot about once they can repeal and replace the Unaffordable Care Act, they're going to start working on taxes. Hopefully that'll come to pass. Mortgage interest is one of them that they probably will never, ever go away. If you own a home or a second home or multiple second homes, people can do that, believe it or not. You can usually deduct the interest you pay on your mortgage, so think about that concept. Mortgage, the home mortgage, the second mortgage, the line of credit, the home equity line of credit, all areas that are generally tax deductible. Property taxes, you can do that one as well. First-time home buyers, there are some rules there. Maybe you can even look in your IRA and find some money in your IRA that can help with your first-time home purchase. Again, I am not a tax professional. I don't even play one on TV. So contact a tax professional about the rules there. Your 401k might even be willing to help you. Selling your home. You don't want to sell it too quickly for too much money, because then it may lose some of your tax benefits, unless maybe you're moving over 50 miles away, job relocation. There are different benefits there. Owning a second property could be beneficial for you. There are tax deductions. Home improvements. We've talked about the PACE loans before that can help you with, and they even apply those right to your property tax bill. So think about that one. Energy credits. Home office. A lot of people are skipping that one. Years ago, that was just a big red flag for the IRS to audit you. There are some definite rules in place for that one to help you out as well. And again, home equity loans, maybe consolidation loans, debt consolidation loans. Again, talk to your tax professionals, and then let us chat with our loan professionals to see how this all work for you. That, again, you need to have a household board of directors. Now, I would suggest if you've got a business, you should have a board of directors there too. You don't know everything about everything, and I know entrepreneurs think they do. That's how they started their business, because they knew they could do it better than the next guy. It's just a fact of life. If you're telling me I'm wrong, you're already proving my point. Just think about that concept. You need a household board of directors. Apple, IBM, these companies all have boards of directors. If you've got a mid or small size business, you should probably have a board of directors as well. And it's not just your mom and your dad and the people that think the same way as you do. I'm going to suggest accountants, CPAs, lawyers, insurance people. We're talking to one that should probably be on a board of directors right here is Jim Sando. They're small, mid-sized business consultants. You know, Jim, a lot of the big companies have a board of directors that have a function. Then always get to the small and mid-sized, they've skipped that concept completely because they know everything. And then we get to the individuals who say, I can't afford it, so I'm not going to even talk. I'm going to go online and do my own taxes and pretty much pay more than they should. Right? Let's talk to these small businesses. Who should be on the board of directors of a small or mid-sized business?
You want to have the different industries represented. If you've got marketing component to your business, you want somebody who has expertise in marketing. A lot of people don't have expertise in social media, so have somebody who knows something about social media. Certainly have somebody who knows something about accounting and finance, somebody who knows something about law. somebody who knows something about your area of expertise. If you're a plumber, make sure you have somebody who knows something about service industries. But make sure that you've got all the bases covered, that you've got rounded out things, so your area of expertise, you can bring your area of expertise to the table, but you have other people who can contribute from their areas of expertise, and that's worth its weight in gold.
What kind of businesses? Twofold. What kind of businesses do you work with, and then what kind of businesses should be looking for somebody?
Well, I work with a wide range of businesses. I've worked with small little startup companies. I've worked with manufacturers who have $40 million and 125 employees. What I try and focus on is on companies that have between 10 and 50 employees, because they can't afford the area of they can't afford people with expertise. They can afford someone who does bookkeeping for them. They can afford somebody who can throw some ads together, but they don't have somebody who really understands marketing, or somebody who really understands HR law, or somebody who really understands budgeting and cash flow projections and that sort of thing. So, that's what I focus on. But as far as what businesses can use a consultant, frankly, I think that there isn't, back when I was CEO, I was CEO of a $40 million enterprise. If I could have gotten a consultant who could come in and criticize and argue with me in the privacy of my office and give me good thoughts, how can somebody walk away from something like that? They'd be crazy not to have it. So I don't, one of the clients that I worked with was a hair salon, of all godforsaken things. I don't know anything about hair cutting, but I knew something about marketing and sales.
I just try to find the hair.
We increased their sales in their product categories by 40% 1 month by just introducing a very simple sales technique. It wasn't intrusive. It wasn't offensive. It was just like all of a sudden the employees got the concept. So I guess the question is, if you're a small business and you could increase sales in one category by 40%, what would that mean to you?
That's a good, there you go. Right? What would it mean to your business? And the question then becomes not, can you afford it? Is, can you afford not to?
That's absolutely, and people don't understand and appreciate that by and large, because as you say, well, I know, when you're the CEO and everybody comes to you for answers, you come up with answers all the time.
Sure.
You don't stop to think about,
they may not be right,
better answers. Could there be a better way or a different way to look at this?
So how does a company get started with a consultant?
Well, what I do is I meet with clients for at least an hour, prospects for an hour, and just say, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And then I usually walk away. I want to think about it. I want the client to think about it. I want to come back for a second meeting and say, okay, here's how I think we ought to approach this. Are you comfortable with that? And usually they'll say, well, I don't think you should spend time on this, but I think you ought to spend more time on that, because they've had a chance to think about things. And then I sort of come up with a plan of action and say, hey, does this make sense to you? I want my clients to buy into every step, because it's their business. It's not mine. They're the ones that have to live with the results. I want them to own it. I want them to be involved in it. I don't want to come in and fix something for somebody, because when I'm gone, it's going to get broken again. I want my clients to learn how to fix things and approach things with a different perspective.
So when they come back, it just struck me when you come to them and say, okay, I think we should be looking in this direction, and they say, no, I want to focus on that direction. Do you think there's a diversion that's where they feel vulnerable? Is the one they don't want you to look at?
Sometimes, but by and large, people are pretty honest. They understand. As I said, sometimes we don't understand our own weaknesses. So people say, you don't need to worry about that because I've got it covered. And I'm sitting there going, you think you have it covered, but I can tell you from your numbers, you don't have it covered. It's not worth. That's not showing. That's what your numbers say to me.
Do you do your consulting on site, or do you do it off site?
I do both. A lot of my consulting is done doing research and analysis off-site, but then I do usually spend some time interviewing employees, interviewing suppliers, interviewing clients, customers, so that I get a perspective of what's going on in the business above and beyond what the CEO can tell me.
Sounds like a fascinating world. I just love the idea of studying business, so it's kind of fun. Are you focusing, because I know there is a difference here. Do you focus on the successful business or the failing business?
Actually, I deal with both. Some businesses, they're failing so bad it's almost too late. They don't have any cash. They don't have any way to pay for services. And while I'd love to help them, I still have to pay my mortgage bill. But So I'm really looking ideally for companies that are growing, that things are happening so fast they can't keep track of them. They're just excited, and oftentimes in that sense of euphoria of what's going well, they don't stop to think about the problems that are creeping up and climbing, growing underneath the sink, and you got to deal with those too.
I'm going to put my medical hat on for just 1 second because we're about out of time. But if you have a small business and you experience the issues that Jim's talking about right here, your business is growing like wildfire, and you have to understand one of the biggest killers in our society is something called stress. And because we had a business that had this happening, stress can be both good and bad. So you can be stressed from a business that's growing like wildfire, making boatloads of money, and you can be finding yourself in a stressful situation. You need to address that just as much importance as the business that's having some challenges as well. So I highly urge you to reach out to Jim, his organization. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. Sit down for that consultation, see if it fits. Who knows whether it will or won't. Kind of a consultant to me is kind of like a reverse mortgage. I don't know if it's right for everybody, but I know the education of the concept is correct for everybody. So you should make sure you explore it for your business, for your family. And be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. And don't forget tomorrow, reverse mortgages for purchase. Don't ever make another mortgage payment for life. Again, that's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.